Now, 4 amateur British rowers have smashed an endurance race record by rowing across the Atlantic in just over 29 days. That's 5 days quicker than the previous record. The London-based team was among 25 teams racing the 3,000 miles from the Canary Islands to Antigua in the Caribbean. The 4 friends were expecting to take 40 days to complete the row, but their families had to rebook their flights to greet them as they progressed ahead of schedule. And there is flash photography at the start of this report from Jordan Jarrett-Bryan.
Ever heard about the tale of 4 mates who decided to travel across the Atlantic to raise money for 2 charities? Did you hear the bit about them not only raising £250,000, but completing the journey in record-breaking time? Not just by a few hours either, but by more than 5 days.
They have also smashed the world record, being the fastest team to cross the Atlantic Ocean ever.
Well, that's what Peter, George, Dickie and Stuart did as they ventured on a 3,000-mile row from La Gomera in the Canary Islands to Nelson's dockyard at Antigua. Their combined efforts have broken the world record for the fastest 4-man crossing of the Atlantic Ocean.
It feels overwhelming.
Truth be told, yeah, we went out there with a view to doing as well as we could, but we didn't know how good that was. We'd never done it before. But we're all pretty competitive, so when push comes to shove and you've got to lead, you try bloody hard to keep it.
The amateur rowers will donate the money to mental health charity Mind in memory of George's mother, who died aged 54 in 2011, and spinal research in support of Peter's friend who suffered a spinal cord injury whilst playing rugby for Hong Kong in 2010.
To commemorate Mum and to be able to bring that to fruition and complete it and do it such justice and do it in such style and with such great support and such great success is amazing.
The crew completed the race even quicker than they had expected, speculating that it would take 40 days, but that target was smashed, and they did so, shedding a combined 38 kilograms in the process.
Well, I spoke to the team earlier and I began by asking them how they felt.
Having spent the best part of 30 days just in each other's company on a boat that's only just big enough for the 4 of us, it's a really small kind of bubble. And in your mind, you don't really think about the finish line. You just need to get into a routine of 2 hours on, 2 hours off. But I think now some time's passed has, for me, contextualised what we've achieved. And yeah, I feel really proud of that.
Can you tell us how this all started? I mean, why did you decide to do this?
Back in 2011, my mum sadly passed away then after her lifelong battle with mental illness. After her funeral, Dickie and I sat down and decided one day I wanted to do a big challenge to sort of in her memory. And the next thing we knew, a WhatsApp group appeared that said Atlantic Row. The 4 of us, being rather bravado-fueled, accommodated it in concept, and before we knew it, concept became reality and we were all pop committed. And
practically, how did it work? I mean, how did you eat, sleep, go to the loo, all those sorts of things?
We're in pairs, so each pair slept in each cabin. But we always rowed 2 hours on, 2 hours off, so there are always 2 people on the oars and then 2 people sleeping. In terms of eating, we had, to be honest, the first 6 days I didn't actually eat. A couple of us had a bit of seasickness, but we had essentially dry food on the boat, and you boil water and then jet boil, pour the water into the dry food, stir around, and then 15 minutes later, that's your meal.
It's not glamorous.
There's nothing glamorous about it.
If you had a jet boiled meal, that was actually a luxury item.
We were a sugar-free boat, so we were sort of basing all our training on being in a fat-adapted state, so what's called ketosis. So essentially, by cutting out the carbohydrates, we weren't getting the highs and lows in energy. We were getting our energy source through fat. So we had a really sort of high-fat diet during crossing. And then I suppose that leads on to the toilet situation nicely. We had 40 litres of what's called MCT oil, which is like a high-calorie oil that you add to your food, which sort of made going to the toilet slightly easier, so to speak. And we had a bucket at one end of the boat, and it was literally a question of sitting on the bucket, putting a little bag over the bucket, sitting on the bucket, and
Away you go.
doing your business.
The extent to which you smashed the record must be a huge surprise. I mean, how did you do it?
On reflection, before the race, we would have been happy to cross it in under 40 days, or 40 days, I think was our target. So to when we realised that we were in contention halfway across the Atlantic of a race record, we didn't really let ourselves believe it. I remember when I think Stuart's dad told us that we were a day ahead of latitude 35's time last year, and I think one of our reactions was that must be incorrect. Ocean rowing's it's a tough game, and you can, the next day or the next night with a capsize or a power failure, you can be out the game straight away. So, yesterday evening when we came into English Harbour and we started believing that this dream was going to turn into reality, was pretty overwhelming, and the last 12 hours has just been a bit crazy.
Have you started talking about the next thing?
It's been 18 months to 2 years of utter dedication, where we've had to neglect other elements of our lives in order to prepare the best we can for this. We've done the right thing, but that doesn't mean that there aren't certain things that have gathered a bit of dust whilst we've been doing it. Is there going to be something else? Who knows? But for the moment, certainly from my perspective, it's a case of repaying the incredible generosity that people have shown us, and spending a bit of time with loved ones and friends.
Well, many congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.